Well done. Dan, a lot of people were asking before this game. We'd find out in the next few weeks about Sunderland starting today. What have we found out?
I think you saw again the fight in the team. It's incredible. The boys work so hard, throughout the whole week, and we show it on the pitch. We fight to the end. Just the amount of late goals we've scored, it's brilliant.
You got the first goal. You got the ball rolling. First goal from the feet in 2 years. What was said at half time?
Yeah, I mean they caused us a lot of problems. To be fair, in the game, we was camped in on the edge of the box. We knew we'd have to take our chances at set pieces and be a lot more aggressive off the ball. And obviously going in 1-0 up, we thought we could get something out of the game, and in the end we did.
Brian, you were sent on. What did the manager say to you when he sent you on?
Just that I need to be important. Hopefully with the goal, and today they did.
Just talk us through that goal, that equaliser.
I think it was a long ball. I don't know from who, but then the big man with a good header, and I was at the right place.
How immense has the man been alongside you today?
Yeah, really good, really important today for the team. So, yeah.
Dan, do you sense there's something really special happening here at Sunderland? You've taken on the best team in the Premier League, arguably one of the best teams in Europe, and in fairness, gone toe-to-toe.
Yeah, I mean, we're very calm, to be honest. It's a long season. We've had a good start, obviously, but it's been a lot of games that have been tight. So, if we keep going like this, hopefully we can, achieve our goal.
Well, listen, well done to both of you, but Dan, particularly well done to you. Brian, do the honours. You are the player of the match.
Well done. Thank you.
Well played.
Both of Sunderland's goal scorers this evening. What a moment. This one will live on in the memories for them because it was such a significant night for them. Salvaged a point late on. We just heard from Brian Brobby, so let's have a look at his goal, the equaliser, 2-2, 94th minute. Sorry, David, but can you talk us through this?
It's a little bit unlucky, like we get a little deflection off Saka there, and then Pollard is causing havoc again. Whether Ray should come, I'd question that. And the way that he comes for the ball, he's coming to try and catch it. And is he aware of the guy getting really close to it? Gabriel's trying to hold him off. He tried to get a free kick for a head, high boot, but his head was low. It's a great finish by Proby, but I just question the decision of Raya, whether he should have come and tried to punch it rather than trying to catch it.
And he'll be absolutely gutted considering the record we've been talking about of clean sheets and the string of clean sheets that they have had.
Yeah, definitely. And he's made some fantastic saves in the game as well. He even made a triple save. He gets cancelled out for offside, so apparently that doesn't count. But he's been making some fantastic saves. But I nearly said it's so disappointing. But when you look at the overall game, I think
fair result in the end.
Yeah, just about a fair result.
Just about. Look at the points from losing positions. Sunderland have amassed the most this season. They're a newly promoted side, but you wouldn't think it, would you, Gary?
Yeah, no, it's a great start, isn't it? And it's all about attitude. That when I look at that, I feel like, that's about attitude and that's about not getting your head down.
See the Premier League table there. They still have that healthy lead at the top, but I guess it would have been nice to have extended it a little bit more.
Yeah, of course it would, but it shows you that they still believe in what they're doing. This was a difficult game, especially when you looked at it first half. It looked difficult. Sunderland were well organised and they knew exactly what they needed to do with Arsenal. Hit it long, play in Arsenal's half rather than trying to play out from the back. And like Gary said, when they did play out from the back, it cost them a goal. But Arsenal, they're in a good position, because this was a big test.
As for Sunderland, third in the table. How are they doing this?
Yeah, dreamland. Yeah, like I said, attitude, the way they're playing, unbeaten at home. They're obviously generating the atmosphere at home. The fans are obviously loving the life in the Premier League this season. Well organised team, doing very, very well. So, but we said about Arsenal as well. It was important if they didn't win to not lose. 7 points clear. They're in a good position. And
tomorrow Liverpool playing City. If that's a draw as well, we're as we were. So it's not be all and end all so far.
Stephen, I want you to have a right to reply there because you were chuckling there at the, staying up. I mean, you've got to be. What are your aims for this season?
Even was Champions League football.
Yeah.
Of course I do. Why not? The last time Arsenal and Sunderland contested a fixture when both of them were in the top four was 1935, and the England captain played for us then. So I think, why not? The only people to beat Arsenal are the champions. They're looking like the runaway leaders of the division, and we have given them undoubtedly the toughest game of the season out there today. So they were really good for the 25 minutes after half-time, they were amazing. And then I think your man's right. They sat off a bit and tried to take that 2-1, and that fatal.
Stephen, this is very much like Forest last season, the way they started and continued and stayed in them European places.
No.
What do you think is a realistic target now for Sunderland?
Look, the owner was on last week and said, he gave an interview on Sky last week, said, we'll see where we are come January. And if we're in a position to try and secure the top 10, then we'll go for it. We're in a position to be able to go again in transfer-wise in January. And I think we're better than Forest. Under Nuno, they played very tight, they played a long ball. I see why you make that comparison. But we've been really, really flexible with our formation. And Labrie there, towards the end when we're behind, he takes off all three of his front line and brings on 3 attackers. And then when Arsenal make a defensive substitution, he brings on a 4th attacker. That's not like Forest. That's really going for it. And I think that deserves that draw today.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, did you feel that Arteta could have done more on the touchline? Because it felt like Regis Labrie really does do that tactical in-game play, doesn't he?
Well, he was pretty angry on the touchline, wasn't he?
Jamie, what do you think?
To be fair to him, look, squad-wise, we've got a great squad. We've got no injuries going forward. So we had a lot of defenders on the bench. So if we got a third, we might have saw maybe a back 6. But in attack, we had, Wanyeri. That's really all we might have saw. Maybe Dalman. We were missing Gyökeres today. People don't like him, but he's a bully. Him and Ballard were a great battle today. Nothing against Moreno, but you're definitely a fill on the gap a little bit.
Would you have liked? Sorry, Jamie, just quickly. Would you have liked to see like Nwaneri maybe play as a false 9 because he's got speed, he can dribble, he can score?
Yes and no. I feel with these sort of games, with Ballard especially in the back 3 they've got Sunderland, you need a Moreno type. There's just a big figure there, not to do anything per se, but just be there. So if it had Havertz, for example, or Gyökeres, would have been a bit better. But I feel if we had had Wanyeri drop here and Trossard drop it deeper, their back 3 sits even stronger and go on him, get through us. We wouldn't get through them.
Stephen, Jamie, thank you so much for your company this evening. I know who's a bit happier at the moment. Thanks, Stephen. Look, before we go, George has got in touch and I want you to listen to this, Jay.
Question for G. Bothroyd. Are you putting that Sunderland top on rates?
Well, I mean, we need to put this...
You're right. I did say I will put it on.
You're putting it on for the draw, are you? The fact that you did say if they won, you'd wear it all week. So how often are you going to wear it next week? Oh, we're not on next week because it's international break.
Yeah, maybe the next. I did say if they won. If Sunderland beat Arsenal, I would definitely wear the Sunderland shirt.
Okay. You've been good company tonight. Thank you, Jay. I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time after the international break.
Exactly.
We'll see what happens. Okay, stay with us. Plenty more coming your way.
Welcome back to Premier League Live. Now, before the match, we discussed the significance of this game between Sunderland and Arsenal because of the league table, and that tells you the story, doesn't it? Sunderland, as things stand, are up to 2nd in the table, only 4 points behind league leaders Arsenal. Now, there's still a long way to go in this, 45 minutes, the second half, anything could happen. But as things stand, that's where the teams are. David, this probably isn't quite the half-time discussion you were hoping to have.
No.
What are your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I was going to say I was surprised, but I'm not. With the way that I've seen Sunderland play and how organised they are, it's really impressive. You know, they've ditched the playing out from the back. You know, they're going long ball, but it's not just a long ball. It's organised. It's into certain areas. They're getting the knockdowns. You know, and as we saw with the goal, you know, it was planned. And as much as I want to say Arsenal are playing bad. They're not. It's just that Sunderland are playing really well.
Yeah, and actually, Granit Xhaka has played his part as well in this first half. Tell us how.
Yes, he has. He's been a leader. Like we said before the game, he's been a bit of a leader on the pitch and leading by example. We see here, obviously, like David said, they're not afraid to go long. This one, long, didn't really get the joy. The second one, they certainly did get the joy. Physical presence there by Dan Ballard. Make no mistake, this first touch and finish for a centre-back is a special goal. But we just highlighted this here, and the first contact, if you look at Saliba, he's just looking behind at Isidore, and he's concerned. And I think, looking at this, if Timber could just drop in and occupy that full-back position, it might lead Saliba to go over and cover that space a little bit earlier. You see the space there, ultimately, where Dan Ballard gets in to finish. I just think, who am I this season to pick bones out of Arsenal's defence? It's been unbelievable. But in this moment, the finer details, Timber tucks round. I think Saliba gets across quicker than he did and maybe prevents the goal. But this has been a very well-organised Sunderland display. I've been really impressed, I really have. They're not afraid to go long when they have to. They're defending in a solid 5. and they're attacking, in a 4. So it's not all long ball. They're getting the ball down in the opposition's penalty box and trying to play.
Yeah, I mean, for Arsenal, 812 minutes without conceding a goal in all competitions. It's finally happened after 8 consecutive games. It'll be interesting to see how they react in the second half, for sure.
They will, because Sunderland are also forcing Arsenal to hit long balls themselves, and Arsenal haven't got the front men to hold the ball up. So the ball's coming straight back at them. So it's been a really good display by Sunderland. OK, Arsenal have had a few chances after that, but, especially the Saliba one, that was a great chance. But, it's finally balanced.
Yeah, and I guess Arteta will be saying in that dressing room, we want to see more of this.
Yeah, that's an easy save. I was talking to Gary about the closed fist save, and I'm not a big fan of that, but a lot of the foreign goalkeepers do that, and he dealt with it effectively. But this one, I think it just gets it under his feet a little bit too much, and he can't get any power on it.
Arsenal need to try and find a solution in this game, don't they? Like I said, I've been very impressed with Sunderland. The way that they're defending, they're making it so difficult for this Arsenal team. And they're a threat going forward as well. So, Mikel Arteta, I'm sure, will be giving his team talk now. And they need to try and find a solution because ultimately, this season, you have to try and get results in these kinds of places.
Absolutely.
To win the league.
Arteta's received so much credit, and rightly so, this season, but Regis Lebris, tactically, to get things so right, that is pretty good, isn't it? Pretty impressive.
You set out a game plan and then hope that the players implement it, and they are doing it so well.
Sunderland striker Darren Bent is here with Gary O'Neill, and there is a story emerging at the Stadium of Light. Leaders Arsenal have conceded for the first time in 13 and a half hours, and they trail to Sunderland, who, as things stand, are going second. Let's have a look at the goal, which comes from a free kick taken by Robin Ruffs. Now, Gary, I'm not sure you'd have seen this too much last season from Anthony Patterson, with Sunderland taking a free kick from that position, the goalkeeper taking it and basically punting it into the box. What's the thought process behind it?
Yeah, I think when you play against sides like Arsenal or Manchester City or Liverpool, where you're going to be limited to how much ball you're going to have, you'll take these opportunities to get the big guys up. So you'll send Dan Ballard up, you send McQuarrie up. Because if you take this, you might take this short against the Burnley or against the West Ham, and you might try and play. Against Arsenal, you take your opportunity to get the ball in the box, and they get fully rewarded for it. Compete for the first one, win the second one, and then a great touch and finish from big Dan Ballard. I'm sure he enjoyed that moment.
Finishing like a striker, and the first time he's done that with his feet, Darren, for 2 years.
Yeah, it's a really, really good finish. I mean, what I like about it is the ball goes over his head and he turns like he's an attacker. He senses that there might be something building behind him, but the first touch is brilliant, and it's just one of those, when you're that close, just smash it as hard as you can. I mean, you can quite clearly see here, it's a really good first touch. A little bit of swaz off the side of his foot, but when you're that close, it doesn't need to be a clean contact. He hits the target, and it goes in, and it's a really, really good finish.
What a story for Dan Ballard, who's enjoying the best period of his career right now, that is for sure. What have you made of Arsenal going forward, though?
Lack of ideas. I mean, and that was always the question around Arsenal, that if they weren't creating chances from set plays, could they find other ways to open teams up? And I think they've really struggled this first half. I think there's been a real lack of movement. There's been no patterns of play. And it almost feels like if they are going to get back into it, it's going to be a situation like that, where it goes into the box, there's a little bit of a fight ball, it pops down, and someone finishes it off. But from that range there, Saliba is good enough to hit the target. We've seen Dan Ballard do it at the other end. That's, in some respects, an easier finish.
How do you see it, Gary, from Arsenal's perspective?
Yeah, I think their biggest test so far this season, second half. I think Sunderland are well-drilled, well set up. They've got the lead. Arsenal look like they're going to throw balls in the box, but, Sunderland look well-equipped to deal with that. So I think it's a big half-time and second half for Mikel and Arsenal. I think it's going to take some doing. But champions normally find a way. So if you want to be champions this year, you need to find a way.
The big question